Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On. Now, if a game contains combat, chances are it'll let you do some type of ridiculous move. But in the games you're about to see, you really just have to stop and go, okay, that was a bit over the top. From smashing someone into a dinosaur in Injustice 2, to kicking someone in the groin 9 times in a WWE game, you'd be hard pressed to outdo these insanely uncalled for special moves. The WWE universe has hosted some spectacular moments over the years, like when Brock Lesnar attempted that shooting star press at WrestleMania, or literally any time Vince McMahon struts to the ring. But in WWE 2K14, you can actually create your own moves and put all existing ones to shame. By slotting separate animations into a timeline like so, you can string together up to 10 moves, and they can be anything you want. You could, for instance, pull off an audacious 720-degree top rope suplex, breaking both the laws of physics and your opponent's back. Or you could try an impossible flying move that misses every single time. It is said that this one is banned in 9 countries, because when it connects, everyone in the arena dies. I call this move like and subscribe. What's cool is the level of control you've got over the speed of each individual segment of the move. My favourite is this devastating series of crotch chops, alternating between slow and fast to hypnotise the opponent. For sheer visual impact though, you can never really beat the one that I like to call the perfect 10, which is 9 groin strikes followed by an extravagant pin. The finishing moves in Ubisoft's historical action game are peak Assassin's Creed, leaving the streets of Victorian London littered with top hats and handkerchiefs and making bystanders shout things like, "Blimey, that's the craziest move I've seen in this current era," which is the Victorian era. When you've built up your meter, you can execute brutal finishing moves on multiple opponents, and it's context sensitive depending on what weapon you've got equipped. So you can pin a man's hand into another man's chest and then push a third man into them to get clotheslined. Those poor Rafarians. These combo moves get even more brutal in the Jack the Ripper DLC, where you can instill fear in the general public by stabbing them repeatedly. I'm pretty sure Jack was a bit more covert than this in real life. This particular one is my favourite though. Not even Jack the Ripper would think to stab someone in the head, then tee up the embedded knife and whack it into someone else like a pointy baseball. Next up is Bayonetta, a witch who literally kills things with monsters made of her own hair. But it's not her magical weave that earns her a place here, it's Bayonetta's brutal torture attacks, which can see you conjure a variety of medieval contraptions designed to inflict maximum pain. For instance, she's got a guillotine to lop off fools' heads, there's a spiked wheel that she spins right on people's spines, and this one here is what's known on the torture circuit as an Iron Maiden, where you close someone in and lock it so they get, well, tortured. These tools are said to be ancient devices that were once used to torment her fellow witches during the witch hunts. So Bayonetta's getting some well-earned payback here, but I still can't help feeling sorry for these guys. Like, that would properly hurt. And I'm someone who once came second 5 times in a row on Fortnite, so I know pain. And speaking of pain, Bayonetta can also use attacks called punish attacks, which see her go up to stunned foes and press a button repeatedly for a series of rapid strikes. This spanking one is my personal favourite. I think this is more about emotional damage really. Yeah. The super moves in Injustice 2 take brawling to new heights, new lows, and new dimensions. Normal people when they fight will do things like throw sloppy punches outside a kebab shop, but super people, when they fight, they throw sea creatures instead. Poseidon is a big fan of this particular move in this DC beat 'em up, and that's only for starters. The likes of Green Lantern, Brainiac, Dr. Fate and Flash have absolutely insane moves with such high production values, they look more like elaborate mid-fight cutscenes directed by the world's richest and most ludicrous madman. I love Scarecrow and his use of fear toxin to make opponents hallucinate that he's 20 foot tall, and Dr. Fate, who sucks opponents into his chest and gives them a very stern talking to in an alternate dimension. But for sheer bonkerness, Flash's is a must-see. With his faster than light speed, he takes his opponent on a whirlwind tour, first by bashing their head against the Sphinx, then back in time to give a T-Rex the fright of its life, before finally smacking them with themselves. That'll be hard to recover from— oh wait, he's up! I forgot. He's a superhero. The moves in Arcade Snowboard Racer SSX3 go by the name Uber Tricks, and if I could give them a rating like I do with the popular taxi service, it would be 5 stars. To earn the right to do an Uber, you first have to build up your trick meter by doing lots of little tricks. I say little, but any of these would get you first place at the Winter Olympics and a big certificate saying, "I did a good trick." The better you do, the more your meter fills, all the way until you get what's known as a Super Uber. If this move was a taxi, it would be a spaceship, and the driver would be James Bond. What impresses the all-powerful SSX score judges is not one of your grabs or spins, but literally breakdancing on your board, or spinning it thrice around your neck like the world's most impractical jewelry. You need loads of air to do this, which is great because it really cleans out your lungs, and you only really break your knees a bit when you land. Now, when you think of an assassin, you probably think discreet and subtle methods of assassination. A simple bullet to the head with a sniper rifle, or a little nudge over the side of a cliff. You definitely don't think of fireworks, which couldn't be more high profile unless Agent 47 literally advertised it on the front page of the newspaper. In Hitman, there are most definitely so many seriously over-the-top assassinations that it's quite difficult to actually choose which one is the most over the top of all. I quite like dressing as a ninja, for example. But I've settled on assassinating Jasper Knight in Cuba by launching him 500 feet into the sky with a fighter jet ejector seat. It all begins with running Jasper through a typical fighter jet safety procedure before making him pull the ejector seat lever, which not only sends him into the sky, but also makes him crash through the hangar's roof in the process. It's without a doubt one of the funniest deaths in the entire game, and definitely a contender for the most over the top. One first-person shooter that takes ultimate moves to a whole new level is Destiny 2. It all started in the original Destiny when the Titan class had that incredibly over-the-top super in the Sunbreaker subclass, Hammer of Soul, where you would just run around the Crucible throwing these giant flaming hammers, taking people out left, right and center. It was like having some crazed fire god charging right at you, who was nearly impossible to survive against. However, in Destiny 2, I think Bungie took the Hammer of Soul to a whole new level with the Warlock's Dawnblade super, which instead of a flaming hammer being thrown around, it was instead waves of fire coming out of the Warlock's sword, who would just end up flying around the map tearing everything to shreds, which not only did a ridiculous amount of damage, but it also made the Warlock look pretty damn cool whilst they did it, and is one of the reasons I started playing a Warlock in Destiny 2. If that's not an ultimate move, I don't know what is. Asura's Wrath is one of those games so outrageous that not even M. Night Shyamalan on a sugar high could come up with it. And even if he did, he'd probably just make everyone ghosts. Well, when you're a demigod like Asura who's seeking amazable revenge on the pantheon of other demigods who betrayed him, the world's one big punchable oyster. This game has more screaming and hulking up than Bruce Banner at a theme park. As much as a mad superhero anime as a game, when he's not battling giant tortoises to get at that succulent meat within, Asura can often be seen powering up Dragon Ball Z style and summoning an infinite amount of arms to fight with. I mean, octopuses are the most formidable creature in the sea, and even they only have 8. Asura even fights on the moon. It's a wonder he doesn't literally fight the moon. But for me though, the most over-the-top move of all is during the battle with Wyzen, who swells himself to the size of a planet and uses his finger to try and smush you. This is a finger so large that it doesn't even burn up upon re-entry when Wyzen prods you from space. But true to form, Asura isn't one to let a mere finger get the better of him, even if it is as big as America. So he manages to fend it off with the power of Wrath. You got to give it up for Wrath. Is there nothing Wrath can't do? But there we have it, some of the most over-the-top special moves in video games. Make sure to let us know if we've missed any out and which one's your favorite. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!